if they want to. Talk don't bother me. I want the...
And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo.
And I'm Miss Joan Marie Musi.
And our guest, Stephen Fredericks from Art of Democracy, returning to talk about these fantastic posters we've just been looking
Welcome
at.
back, Stephen.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We're here live, by the way, and you'll be able to call us at 212-757-1538 if you have any questions or want to get involved in the conversation, so feel free to call in. Stephen, well, it's been about a year and a half since
Yes.
you were with us, and we were just discussing your organization, Art of Democracy, has had some phenomenal growth.
Yes, it has. Since
Go right ahead.
since I was last here a year ago last summer, when the Art of Democracy Coalition had just been formed, we were really focusing on 3 exhibitions in 3 different cities: New York, Chicago, and San Francisco at the time. But as word of mouth about the coalition is spread around the country and from artist to artist and city to city, the coalition of exhibitions now has grown to over 50
That's great.
political art exhibitions, and about a half a dozen, perhaps a couple more exhibitions that are devoted exclusively to the posters from the
That's fantastic.
And it's a good chance, an opportunity to introduce the November 4th. I assume that's November 4th is the election party. What do we
Well,
want
no,
to
we're not actually having an election. The group that I'm involved with in New York, the New York Society of Etchers, is having our own Art of Democracy exhibition that we're hanging this coming Saturday, November 1st. It will be open to the public on November 2nd at the National Arts Club,
Oh,
and
I
then
love
for the
that
next
place.
2 weeks. And
Tell folks where that is.
the National Arts Club is at 15 Gramercy Park South, which is also known as 20th Street, between Park Avenue South and 3rd Avenue, right below Gramercy Park. And
It's a beautiful place.
Really ornate,
Fantastic.
and the inside is amazing.
it's a really beautiful place to see an exhibition, and there's always a number of exhibitions there.
That's
So
right.
you come and you can see our Art of Democracy exhibition and several others there during normal business hours, and from 12 to 6 on weekends. So.
Well, Stephen, let's talk about Art of Democracy. What do you mean by Art of Democracy?
Well, the Art of Democracy Coalition of Exhibitions actually grew out of a show that a group based in here in New York organized which was also presented at the National Arts Club in 2006. It was the first really large format and very well organized and promoted political art show in the post 9/11 environment that we know of, that ultimately traveled around the United States, and it's been in 4 other venues since it was first debuted here in New York. And what immediately came out of that was
Well, what kind of issues are you addressing in a political art exhibit?
Well, what immediately came out of the initial effort was an interest from artists around the country who do the same type of exhibition to cover the 2008 election cycle. We covered the 2006. And what we've done is embrace every idea that should have a place on a political agenda going into an election, so that the subjects that people are addressing are everything from civil rights to issues about the environment, global warming, pollution, immigration issues have been very popular. Of course, the war in Iraq has been a constant theme or continuous theme. The complete spectrum. So we've got now in the 50 art exhibitions around the country over 1,000 artists involved who've all created individual works of art for the shows around the country, and a lot of this work can be seen on our website.
What's your website?
There is a website for the Art of Democracy. It can be found at www.artofdemocracy.org, all one word, and there's a tremendous amount of information there about not just the exhibitions that we've brought into our coalition around the country, but also there's a lot of poster poster images available on the site and links to other political art exhibitions and activities around the country. There's a lot going on right now.
Right now, I know it's impossible to do something like you've just described without there being some counter action to it, some sort of countervention, some sort of resistance to it. You must
reaction.
There's some reaction out there. There must have been something. So tell us what kind of drama and what kind of divisions have been sown by this.
Well, it's a good question, and something that, in all fairness, we were probably braced for more resistance, Paul, than we actually got, which is the good news. The drama has been in the overwhelming excitement and interest in our activities by literally thousands of people, not just domestically, but internationally as well. We've been, my primary colleague in the constituent in the organization of the Art of Democracy, Art Hazelwood, and I have been giving lots of interviews to people at the press level. In Chicago, which is one of the most exciting environments in the United States right now, Obama's hometown, is really jumping. Art Hazelwood works out of San Francisco, where there's been over a half a dozen exhibitions organized, so there's a lot of press activity and coverage there. But I've been contacted by journalists from Australia, the United Kingdom, Germany, and Beirut, Lebanon, recently, just in the last couple of weeks, to name a few. So there's a lot of stories about these different types of interactions with the press. But
now, would you say that you're seeing a wide spectrum of points of view from the artists, or
Yes.
is it mainly from the left-wing point of view or the right-wing point of view, or mainly?
I think that there is many different issues of political interest as there are artists involved in the coalition right now. I think that it would not be fair to characterize the majority of the work as having a leftist perspective. I think many of them are, many of the artworks that I've seen are calling into question issues of national concern. We've seen a great deal of work created about the health of the economy right now, which is neither a leftist nor a rightist concern right now. Immigration is an issue of national concern. If you're thinking more in terms of some of the more kind of classical, like leftist perspectives, like workers' rights, we've seen artwork addressing these things.
Should we look at something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to start off with one that I knew you mentioned earlier caused a bit of controversy.
Okay,
and
let's talk about this one.
We're going to hold it up, and I want to hold it up a little closer to the camera so folks can get a good view of the artwork. And hopefully